18 months after the first informal meeting they held, Chinese President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be meeting in Chennai, in fact on the outskirts of the temple town of Mamallapuram, for the second informal summit. Remember, China does not have this kind of arrangement with any other leader of any other country. And certainly the purpose of the meeting is to take forward some of the benefits of what they saw in Wuhan. They did produce some concrete results apart from what was called the Wuhan spirit and the Wuhan consensus of broadening their understanding, of improving their understanding as well. To begin with, India and China really toned down a lot of the boundary, the rhetoric along the boundary which had flared up during the Doklam crisis. We also saw the two countries come closer on several international fora, so the WTO, climate change, the 16-member the Free Trade Agreement RCEP, which is led by the ASEAN countries, and they also saw a deeper understanding on the issue of terrorism, primarily when earlier this year China withdrew its objections to the UN Security Council listing of Jaish-e-Mohammed chief in Pakistan, Masood Azhar. It's clear that the optics and the atmospherics, as they refer to in the run-up to the Chennai summit, have been very, very different from the optics just before the Wuhan summit, when both sides had tried very hard for several months to smooth out any irritants in the relationship, to begin with the government's move in August on Article 370 and the reorganization of Jammu and Kashmir, as well as the Chinese negative reaction to that, have muddied the pitch quite obviously. The Chinese statements at the UN Security Council, at the United Nations General Assembly as well, the Chinese envoy to Pakistan's comments, and then just this week, President Xi's meeting with Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan, and some of those comments have been protested by the MEA as well. In addition, even the planning of the visit, the fact that Mr. Khan was invited to Beijing just before Mr. Xi is coming to India, gives the appearance that Beijing is somehow trying to hyphenate or connect the two relationships, something India has tried to avoid. The announcement of Mr. Xi's visit just 2 days before he actually lands has also dimmed the atmospherics of the summit somewhat. Nevertheless, the two leaders are expected to make the most of the 24 hours that President Xi will visit in India. And they expect to have two distinct sets of discussions on Friday evening, Saturday morning. They also will be walking together, one-on-one chats by the seaside, visits to monuments, as well as attending cultural performances together. Remember, India has highlighted the reason for the choice of Mamallapuram and Chennai, and the historic links between the coast of Tamil Nadu and the southeast coast of China, as well as the links of Buddhism, trade, and the visit from 7th century traveler Xian Sang way back to Kanchipuram, not far from where the two leaders will be meeting. In terms of specific expectations, officials hope that the two leaders really recommit to the idea of not letting differences turn into disputes. They hope to certainly see a number of high-level exchanges follow this particular informal summit, most specifically on boundary, where boundary talks don't seem to have made much visible headway, and they're hoping to see some clear direction from the leaders to the two special representatives, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval as well as Foreign Minister Wang Yi, both of whom will be present there in Mamallapuram. They also hope to see movement on trade, more trade access for Indian companies, as well as lowering of the trade deficit, but also some kind of assurances that China can make for India to feel comfortable about joining the RCEP agreement, which is expected on November 1st, when the two leaders meet once more in Thailand on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit. Most importantly and above all, what officials really hope is that the Chennai summit will both revive and replenish, if you like, the Wuhan spirit as it was spoken about as a game changer more than a year ago. In New Delhi, for The Hindu, I'm Suhasini Hera.